Hey everybody, Zach again at newtutorial.com, coming in and making a video for you today. This is one of those topics, heliocentric versus geocentric, that gets people really heated in their discussions. They get really emotionally attached to a side, and they just want to fight to the death. And again, this is something that I have developed an opinion on because I have studied it out and I have researched, and I'm just going to go with what I go with. And people still ask me all the time about flat Earth, and I've already done a video on that. So same reason I'm doing this video is that when someone asks me about it, I can be like, there you go, there's what I think. And so that's why I got to do this, because I get too many questions about Zach, is it heliocentric or geocentric? Have you studied this out? What do you think? And so, this is why I'm doing it. I am definitely a heliocentric guy. And it's the same, the whole argument with flat Earth. It's just something that really people get, emotionally, charged over. I really truly believe, and I don't do, I'm not going to be doing any more flat Earth videos. I think the whole flat Earth argument is going to be just over after 2017. 2017, there's two companies, tourist companies, who are going to start taking tourists. That's their main prerogative, is to take tourists up into space for money. And if you got the dollars, you can go. And you don't have to take a GoPro camera with a fisheye lens. Observer 1 also goes live in 2017. And Observer 1, it's going to be so detailed that people on the ground will be able to watch what Observer 1 sees and then use their own equipment to see for themselves what Observer 1 sees. There's no more excuses that they can say, oh, the pictures are all fake, or oh, the graphics are all fake. No. Absolutely not. Observer 1 will be tracked. You can track it yourself. It's going to be easily observable and corroborated. Oh my goodness. You'll be able to verify what you're seeing from the ground. So it's going to be amazing. And so not only that, but you have that, and then you have the tourist company. So this is going to be settled. 2017 done. The argument's over. They can't say these pictures are fake anymore because there'll be too many people. And I think back to the Wright brothers, and I went back and I was looking at all the people who said they were crazy and that they were liars when they were experimenting with flight and inventing flight, along with other people, even in Europe, who were experimenting. And there were so many skeptics and people who came down on them. The Scientific American magazine came down on the Wright brothers and called them basically liars and frauds. And then New York Herald, here's an excerpt I had from the New York Herald. The Wrights have flown, or have they not flown? They possess a machine, or they do not possess one. They are, in fact, either flyers or liars. It is difficult to fly. It is easy to say we have flown. And, flyers are liars. I mean, that was the whole phrase that became very popular. If God wanted men to fly, he would have given them wings. Well, I mean, we all know how that turned out. I think most people within the sound of my voice have been on an airplane at this point, so they weren't lying. They were really truly telling you the truth. And now we have people who are going to be going up next year with tourists, and that guy, his name is Guy, from Cirque du Soleil. He has already paid the Russians to go up on the Suez rocket, and he took his camera and took all kinds of photos up there, the Cirque du Soleil founder. And so there's going to be lots of tourists coming up in the next year and beyond. And at that point, the argument's over. It's over. Now, heliocentric versus geocentric. I am a definite heliocentric guy, and there's some reasons for that. And I'm going to go through this. This is the video where I tell you I'm a heliocentric guy. Here's why. I don't want to argue about it anymore. And understand from the get-go, if you're a flat earther, just because I'm not, we can still be friends, even after next year. If you still refuse to believe that the earth is round, okay, we can still be friends. I'll still call you my bud, my pal. But, we're still going to disagree. But we can be friends. We can break bread. We can argue about all kinds of different things and discuss them passionately, but discuss them with love, so that me and you can still get along and be brothers or sisters. So great. Same with heliocentric. Don't hate me because I'm a heliocentric guy. Okay, if you're geocentric, great. I love you, and I want to be friends with you. If you break fellowship with me over this, that's on you. I'm not breaking fellowship with you over it. Okay, I'm just giving you. People ask. You guys ask the question. Zach, what do you think? Have you studied this? Yes, I've studied it. Here's where I'm at on it. And do with it what you will. Do your own research. I've done my research. I'm very comfortable in being a heliocentric guy. And so I'm just going to go with that. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, so let's just go through my reasonings here. The big verse in the Bible where it gets people all in a fuss It is this verse right here. It's in Joshua 10, verse 12. On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Ajalon. Next verse. So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies, as it is written in the book of Jasher. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day. Okay, so this is it right here. Zach, this proves right there that the sun moves and the earth does not. Because right there it says that the sun stopped and the moon stayed still. Or the sun stayed still and the moon stopped. And I'm like, no, that does not prove that the sun moves. It only proves that the sun moves from our perspective. The sun moves from our perspective. Perspective changes everything. Have you ever been in a moving car and looked out your window? Have you ever, when you're looking, you're sitting perfectly still, but you see everything on the outside moving past you. Trees, grass, whatever. Everything inside the car is not moving and can be perfectly still and quiet, but everything outside is flying past you. From your perspective, what is moving? Who or what is really moving? It appears that the hills, trees, and the land outside the car is moving past you, but in reality, you know that it's the car that is moving. This is just common sense. It's about personal perspective, folks. The earth is the car, and it is moving. You are seeing the sun go past you every day, just like you're sitting in that car. Okay, so when he says the earth stands still, the sun stands still, the earth stops. And it appears to you, from your perspective, that the sun stays there. Every day, that sun goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. It's moving from your perspective, but the sun's not moving. You're the one who's moving. So when Joshua cries out for the sun to stand still, is God stopping the sun from moving, or is he stopping the car? He's stopping the car, folks. That's what's going on here. He's stopping the earth. But people will say that if the earth suddenly stopped spinning, everyone would fly off. I mean, have you heard this argument? I mean, if you studied this argument off, people will be like, what? There's no way God would stop the earth from spinning. That would be just crazy because everyone would fly off at 1,000 miles an hour. And that's not true at all. Sometimes I just check out this video. Look at this video. This is hilarious. Have you ever seen this video before? This is the guy of a man jumping off a moving subway train. Check this out. The guy opens up the door. Moving, not moving. That's moving, not moving. So this is exactly what the geocentric people will say. They'll say, this is exactly what happens right here. You'd be like this guy, boom, right off the train. Right off the train. So that's what would happen to the earth. If you stop the earth from spinning, this is exactly what would happen to you. You would just basically fall on your face and poof, and we'd all fly off the earth. But see, folks, that's why it's called a miracle. It's a miracle that the earth stopped spinning. You didn't fly off. And they say, Zach, that's not believable. Oh, that won't happen. That couldn't happen. Well, let me ask you this. You're the same people who will believe that God can split the Red Sea and float an axe head on top of water and speak the universe into creation, but stopping the earth from spinning? Oh no, that's just nuts. Zach, that's just crazy. So I don't understand. How do you have problems with this miracle? It's obviously a miracle that the sun stood still, because the text in the verse says that this has never happened before, and it will never happen again. And so it's a miracle. It's not something that happens every day, folks. This is just like the splitting of the Red Sea, the floating an axe head on top of water, or speaking the universe into existence by his very word. See, those are miracles. Okay, and this is the exact same thing. This is a miracle. The Father, it says, it's very clear in the text, the Father did this when Joshua called out unto the Creator, unto our Father. And he called out, and God did this, not Joshua. This is not a man-made thing. God did this, just like he split the Red Sea, floated an axe head on top of the water, and spoke the earth into existence, and like so many other miracles that you see inside your Bible. It's a miracle. So don't think that the earth can't stop spinning. It absolutely can. Just like the car can stop moving. The miracle part is that you don't go through the windshield when the car stops moving. The miracle part, like the guy stepping off the train, would be if he just stepped off the train and didn't land flat on his face. That's part of the miracle, folks. There's a great book out there called Joshua's Long Day by Cal Totten. Cal Totten was a pretty interesting guy. He was a teacher or a professor over at the military academy at West Point. He was an artillery officer for a number of years, and a professor in mathematics. And he has an entire book called Joshua's Long Day that gives the technicalities and the mathematics behind Joshua's Long Day and the example that happened with Hezekiah turning back at the sundial. That's all. He gives you all the math on that and how it could possibly work and how it did work and what that means for us. And he does so from a heliocentric and round Earth perspective, because I know a lot of the heliocentric or geocentric guys are flat earthers. So Joshua's Long Day by Cal Totten, written by a military professor from West Point, who was a former artillery officer, very specialized. He was very highly educated in mathematics. Go check that out. I think the book is out of print. I have a copy at my house, and so I think it's a great book. A lot of it's over my head because I'm not that great at math, but he makes some really great, interesting points in that book. All right, let's continue. The principal fraud. So this movie has been touted by a lot of heliocentrists or geocentrists on why geocentric worldview is possible, and why they like it over the heliocentric worldview. And this movie is probably the greatest documentary fraud ever made. And it takes a lot to say that, but this truly is probably the greatest documentary fraud ever created. Check this out. Kate Mulgrew, she was the Captain Janeway in one of the Star Trek, I believe it was Voyager. She was the narration for the documentary. She said she was tricked into being hired for the part. Now, Captain Janeway, or Kate Mulgrew, as soon as this movie came out, she issued a statement on her Facebook page. Here it is. I understand that there has been some controversy about my participation in a documentary called The Principle. Let me assure everyone that I completely agree with the eminent physicist Lawrence Krauss, who was himself misrepresented in the film, who has written a succinct rebuttal in Slate. I'm not a geocentrist, nor am I in any way a proponent of geocentrism. More importantly, I do not subscribe to anything Robert Sungenis has written regarding science and history, and had I known of his involvement, would most certainly have avoided this documentary. I was a voice for hire and a misinformed one at that. I apologize for any confusion that my voice in this movie may have caused. So basically, they came to her and they didn't tell her what the movie was about. They didn't tell her who was involved, because all you have to do is Google Robert Sungenis and see all the crazy nonsense that he believes, and you'd be like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. And so they basically made this movie, or this documentary, under false pretenses the entire way through. Nobody who was in the movie knew about it, or was made aware of its true purpose or who was creating the movie at all. The whole thing was a giant fraud, and a lot of people on Facebook and other places on the internet are pushing this movie as proof text for the geocentric model. And you deserve to know just how much of a fraud this movie is. Every actual scientist that appeared in this documentary has since released a statement that they were misrepresented in the film. Every single one. Lawrence Krauss, Mikio Kaku, George F.R. Ellis, and Max Tegmark, and then John Hartnett, who was the biblical creationist amongst the scientists, all have released statements saying that they were tricked, or they didn't give the permission, or they had no idea, or their footage was stolen for this film. This is the Slate article written by Lawrence Krauss, entitled, I have no idea how I ended up in that stupid geocentrism documentary. Robert Sungenis had to lie, he had to cheat, he had to steal to make this documentary. A few of the scientists said they had no recollection whatsoever of being filmed for this project, and that their footage was stolen and used out of context. See, people will say, but look at this quote from this guy, or look at the quote from this guy in this movie. But the problem is, everything in this movie is used out of context. They have stolen footage from different places, without permission, or they brought these guys into a studio, didn't tell them what they were talking about, and basically fed them lines of different topics, and then took their quotes and used them as a way to push geocentrism. That's crazy. That's just absolutely nuts. Here's another headline. Former Star Trek, Voyager star, and others tricked into lending talents to geocentrism film. I mean, this is all over the place on the internet. You can find information about this. Dr. Max Tegmark of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, that's MIT, I was told that this would be a science documentary by independent filmmakers who wanted to increase public appreciation for science. I should clearly have asked for more details in advance. These geocentric arguments are about as unscientific as things get. And Dr. George Ellis of the University of Cape Town, South Africa, said that the film was not presented as geocentrism to him. Obviously, I don't agree. Not sure how anyone can hold these views these days. They must live in a time warp. Like Lawrence, my advice is to just ignore. There is no point whatsoever or whatever in responding. It just gives the film recognition and publicity. British physicist Julian Barber told Think Progress, I was alerted to the existence of the film about 10 days ago. I never gave permission to be included in the film and certainly did not agree with its thesis. See, folks, they went out and they found a bunch of guys who are mainstream scientists who have, actual degrees in fields of science, and backgrounds in fields of science, and basically twisted their words or stole footage to put them in this documentary to push the idea of geocentrism. The movie is a giant blow to Bible believers everywhere. Let me explain this. Nerd Alert TV did a show on this topic, and here's what they said in their review. I think that folks, this is really important. Pay attention. I think that the one thing to take out of this is that the conservative Christian right had to use deceit and misdirection to get people to make the movie so that people would see the movie. Translation, the only way we as Christians get people to believe in the Bible is to lie to them. That's exactly what that guy's saying. See, if you're a Christian and you have to go basically trick a bunch of people into being in your movie, to push your idea, all that does is make you look like a liar, a cheat, and that's how people view Christians today. Oh, because they view religion as just a bunch of nonsense, and here you are lying and cheating, using footage without permission or stealing it from other documentaries, and using it in your documentary, calling it your own, twisting people's words, and this is like, those Christians again. That's how they get people to believe in their Bible. They have to lie to them. That's a huge disservice to people who actually believe in the truth of the Bible. And I have to side with this guy. He's right. Absolutely right. The film's executive producer, Robert Sungenis, has no degrees in any science field whatsoever. Folks, he has a degree, his doctorate, Dr. Robert Sungenis, his doctorate is from the Republic of Vanuatu. Let me say that again. The Republic of Vanuatu. Okay, folks, that's a diplomacy mill. You go there, you pay a bunch of money, you fill out some forms, and they give you a doctorate. And it's in a field of theology. It's not even science. Folks, is there no scientist anywhere on the planet with a reputable college degree who actually practices in a field of science who believes in geocentrism? Can't you get one of those guys to be in your movie? Why do you have to trick a bunch of mainstream guys or steal a bunch of their footage to use to make a documentary? If you can't, you could just go. Probably because there are no people in mainstream science or who have actual degrees in science or who work in fields of study of different fields of science that agree with geocentrism, because it's nuts. Robert Sungenis in the past, 2002, stated that he denies the Holocaust. Sungenis has also claimed that Israel orchestrated the JFK assassination. But wait a minute, I thought it was Ted Cruz's father who did that. That's what the news is saying today. So it's just crazy. Folks, this guy is complete and total wacko. Go back and look up some stuff on this guy. He's a nut job. He used to be a Catholic. In the Catholic Church, he got so nuts that the Catholic Church even disavowed him, which is saying something. And so, yeah, guys, you should be able to go out and find some geocentrists and, some science guys to make your documentary. You don't have to go lie, cheat, and steal. This whole movie is a fraud. And I know some people are out there. I mean, that's what happens. You watch a movie like this and you're like, wow, that's good. Yeah, I really, you buy into it without going back, checking it out, fact checking it, seeing what people say about it, look at the reviews of it, and then hearing the arguments from the other side. I have said time and time again on my channel, if you hear an argument about one thing, go take that argument, go to the people who disagree with them and say, hey, listen, he says this, what do you say? Tell me your opinion. And then you take that and you go and oh, that's a great argument. Yeah, okay, it makes sense. Take it and go back to the other guy and say, hey, he said this about what you said. Now what do you say? And then you weigh out that evidence until you come to a decision. You may have to go back and forth 2 or 3, 4 times. But you weigh it out. You just don't buy into something without going and fact-checking it and using some common sense to see what's going on here. Because, folks, this movie is a complete fraud. It's the principal fraud. This is one of his quotes. Among the major forces in the ascent of the New World Order, he explained, are the Jews, Judaism, and the land of Israel. So he's blaming the New World Order on Israel. Ugh, what an idiot. Anyway, so here's the deal, folks. Let's keep going. The nail in the coffin for geocentrism, this is not observable science. This is the nail in the coffin for me. Why do I not believe in geocentrism? Is because you can't observe it. Those who believe the Earth stands still and the sun moves around the Earth, you do not see that. What you do see is things like Mercury, planets like Venus. They are going around the sun, and you see them going in front of the sun, and you see them going behind the sun. There's video evidence of this, and folks, it's not just NASA. Anyone can take photos of this. I was just recently in San Diego, and a guy came up to me with his laptop and his handheld Nikon camera, and he was showing me pictures of Jupiter's moons, unbelievably neat, really cool photos of Jupiter's moons going around Jupiter. He had taken a series of photos with this handheld Nikon camera. Okay, this is not NASA. His own handheld Nikon camera, zoomed in and saw the 4 biggest Jupiter's moons and with a series of photos going around Jupiter. It was very evident they were going around Jupiter. So, for some reason, you think our moon doesn't go around our planet, or we're not going around the sun, but the evidence says otherwise. You can see Mercury and Venus going in front of the sun and then going behind the sun. There is plenty of footage showing that occurrence. And there's plenty of people, amateur photographers and videographers online, who make it their life study, their hobby. They're amateurs and semi-professionals who go out and they photograph this stuff. This is not NASA. Not to mention all the other space agencies around the world, but you can see this yourself. In fact, folks, May 9th is going to be the next transit for Mercury across the sun. You will be able to see it. On May 10th, the internet will be flooded with tons of people with their own camera equipment going out and getting pictures of the transit of Mercury across the sun. Okay, that's between Earth and the sun. So if your sun, if you're a flat earther, is only 3,000 miles above the Earth, how in the world is Mercury coming between us and the sun? And then, later on, you can see that going behind the sun. Obviously, it's going around the sun. So this is not demonstratable, testable, observable science we're talking about here. And I know people will say, Zach, you're just siding with the monkey man science people, and you're siding with the evolutionary worldview of science today. And that's not true, because a lot of evolutionary, science has got good science to it. I don't buy into their evolutionary worldview, but that doesn't mean they're wrong about everything. You get a broken clock. The broken clock is still right twice a day. Just because they have fallen for this whole evolutionary worldview does not mean that the rest of their science is not sound. If it's demonstratable, testable, observable, you can peer review stuff and you can see if things are true or not. If someone's theory holds water or their hypothesis is valid. You can test these things. And so, and not only that, but it's not just NASA's photos. You can do this yourself. Take a look at this. This is on Optics Planet. This is one of their top-of-the-line telescopes. $36,000 telescope right here. It's called the Meade Max 20-inch ACF telescope, half-meter observatory class research scope, for $36,000. Folks, you can go home with this and get a few add-ons and then take photos that are just as good as NASA. Just as good, from your own backyard. So, let me ask you a question. If you can verify what you see on on the SOHO scope and some of the other NASA satellites that they have up there that you can log into anytime, day or night, on the internet and watch these things, but you can go out in your backyard and verify exactly what you're watching through SOHO, it's the same thing. Guys, this is not just a giant conspiracy. Yes, the Earth spins and it goes around the sun. Just like Mercury does, just like Venus does, just like Jupiter's moons go around Jupiter. Folks, we're in a solar system, just like science says it is. Now, I do not believe in the evolutionary worldview that it took billions of years to get here. It was spoken into existence. I believe there's very much a lot of evidence that shows that the universe is very young. Kent Hovind does a great job of going through all the reasons why that is true. You want to go find, I believe it's Kent Hovind's series 1 of his videos, and you can check all that out. But, whatever. That's not observable, testable, demonstrable science, folks. Absolutely. Heliocentric. I'm a heliocentric guy, and I know people are going to get angry at me. They just can't stand it. Anyway, transit, May 9th, Mercury. Check it out. It's coming up in a few days. That's a few days away. Go check it out. And go look at all the evidence that people are going to put forward. It's going to be on the news, the transit of Mercury. You're going to be able to see it go across the sun. It's going to be very demonstrable. Now, then, go out and find all the video evidence, both amateur and professional, that shows Mercury going behind the sun. Lots of it out there, folks. It just takes me a few minutes to get on the internet and show you. It's all out there, and it's easily searchable for all you guys. So the argument that all the pics are fake, sorry, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. There's too much verifiable photography and videography out there by amateurs to prove that this stuff really is the way they say it is. And it's only the people who are just not researching this, in my opinion, who are not researching this enough, hearing both sides of the arguments, who are coming to these conclusions. And that's fine. Listen, guys, like I said, if you're a flat earther, great. If you're a geocentric guy, great. We can still be friends. And there's probably lots of stuff that me and you are going to agree on, when it comes to scripture and the Bible. This just, sorry, won't be one of them. But it's okay. We can still be friends. I love you guys. I love you. But people are asking, Zach, have you studied out heliocentric versus geocentric? Yes, I have studied it out. This is my conclusion. May 9th, the transit of Mercury. Don't miss it. All right, we'll see you next time. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.